Praise the Lord, everyone. First and foremost, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, to my leaders, Apostle and Terry, and jump right into this video. So I'll be coming from Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged. God puts us in a place, in a position where we can learn and grow. And right now in my life, I have things I'm learning and growing from. Right now I'm at a place where I feel like everyone is against me. So much stuff happens, and I ask God, why am I here? What is it that I need to do here, or why am I placed here? The biggest thing I'm facing right now is my job. I thank God for my job, but I have people constantly bullying me. I get looked down on constantly, and I know this is like every job, but I know God has everything planned out and lined out in our life for a purpose. As I look back and see, what I've learned so far going through all of this, I've learned, like, don't seek for man's approval. We are on this earth to please God, and people will never be satisfied, And a lot of people look at me like, why is she here? How did she get that job? And stuff like that. But God qualifies the unqualified. I know people look down on me at this job because I'm a young female, and how and why is she in this position, and it's no one but God that blessed me and promoted me and established me, and no one knows what, you've been through. So let them keep talking, to just ignore them. And another one I had to learn is don't sell yourself short. People might look at you and sell you short, but don't look at yourself and think badly about yourself, because somebody else might think opposite. Even God's thoughts towards us are of good and not of evil. And the other one is don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself. No one can be you and you can't be no one else. I had to learn that, because everyone learns and catches on differently. We are not all called the same. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, And I had to learn to continue to stand strong, because some days, I just cry because it's so much, like every single day. But, but I do know that the Lord is always on my side, and he fights every battle, and faith. I just got to keep my faith, even in the hard situations, because, God will bring me out of them eventually, and he just shows me who people truly are, how the world is, how people are. And everyone is not your friend or for you. Remain guarded at all times. People will throw you right up under the bus and lie on your name. And always be watchful and don't trust everyone. That's what I had to learn. And to always encourage yourself, because sometimes, it is discouraging, having to face a lot of things and a lot of people every single day. And think on his goodness, because as you think on his goodness, you're keeping your mind occupied, and as you keep our mind occupied, with something good, then it won't affect us that bad. So keeping my mind occupied on, the Lord's goodness, whether I'm worshiping throughout the day or singing a song or making sure I pray throughout the day, but always shift your mind on something positive, to, to not to focus on the negative. And he's always there with you, and he'll always make a way, and it's him who gives, us favor, and it's him who gives me favor. So that's what I pretty much had to learn, but I thank God for it, even in this, situation here. But pretty much saying, Lord, I just hope this encourages someone.